So Dr. Anjali Garg here, finally, All India rank 79 in UPSC 2022 exam. And it's been a long wait, right? After your interview, you've been waiting for
Yes,
three
sir.
months altogether. Almost you have a prelims in less than a week time. Okay. And congratulations. I'm personally very happy because we have been having a lot of conversations before exam. So, and yeah, we'll start with the intro. People like the doctor fraternity, the future budding doctors want to know your educational background and who is Dr. Anjali Garg. Okay, just we'll start with the intro part. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So before the introduction, I would really thank you. I would like to thank you for everything, like, because I have called you many times in between my preparation, sir, if I am doing it right, if I am making enough diagrams and my content is good, and you have always responded in minimal time. So I think that was a big boost from your side, sir. So thank you so much for that. I am Dr. Anjali Garg, and I was born in Chandigarh, and I have done my schooling from Chandigarh DAV school.
Yes.
And then I opted for medical field, and then I got All India AIMS rank 46, and in IPU Safdarjung All India 18 rank. So I opted for VMMC in Safdarjung Hospital, Delhi, and sir, I shifted to Delhi for my MBBS. And during that MBBS period, I just realized that there were many hardships which are faced by the patients, and I wanted to work at the grassroots level and at a diversified level. So I started focusing on the UPSC exam. I just thought, let's see what happens in UPSC and what are the subjects. So during my MBBS final year and internship, I joined the coaching Vision IS for the GS part. And yes, sir, so I just got the basic understanding of the subjects. And then after internship in 2020, I started preparing for UPSC as a full-fledged preparation.
Yes.
Yes,
So
sir.
you have been working somewhere or like full-time preparation after internship? Any medical officer post? I had seen many of the doctors getting into other services like common medical service to pursue this thing. We all know this is a time-taking process. So were you full-time?
Sir, actually, sir, actually, after the internship, that was my first attempt. So I wanted to give it my best, and so I prepared from my home in Panchkula, and I dedicated full time to that. And sir, after my first attempt, though I went till the interview, but I missed the final stage. So I, at that time, still, as I was a bit broken, so I opted for a job, private job, but that I continued only for a month because I couldn't concentrate on my optional. I wanted to enrich my optional subject, so I decided to quit that job, and I prepared full-fledged with my study partner.
So what was this Haryana civil service exam was there na? In 2021? You are ranked 5.
Yeah,
I had seen
right.
that, yes.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
You have
Yes.
optional
So,
medical science there also in the state PEC, state,
sir,
yes.
sir, in HCS, medical science came as the first time in HCS. So that was, I think, a big fortune for me that medical science was there for the first time in HCS, and it got a very good, I think, marks, because 7 doctors were selected in the HCS exam in the 48 SDM.
Yeah.
And I was ranked 5 in HCS, and I definitely got very good marks in medical science, though they are not released yet.
Yeah.
So
In the
currently,
last,
I am pursuing my training as HCS executive.
exactly. But the trend is changing. And the last 2 years,
Yes, sir.
I had seen many of the students calling me for state PEC, not UPSC. So this is a change. So medical science as an optional is, yes, it's a part of UPSC, but even state PECs are also introducing it. Even Jammu and Kashmir exam also, we have
Yes,
many
sir.
of the students who got selected this year. Okay, great. So the
Sir,
next
in HCS also, the medical science pattern was the same as the UPSC.
the
So it
same pattern.
helped
Yes.
me
Yes.
cracking that.
Even they're copy pasting
Yes,
the
sir.
syllabus part I had seen from the website of
Sir, it's the same syllabus.
Same
Yes, sir.
syllabus. Yes, same syllabus.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get into the support part because it's not possible, right? I know the hardship, and I had seen your WhatsApp status also. The iceberg phenomenon of PSM, right? That's what we see. The only success part is seen. So not only me, many of the future aspirants, they want to know about your support.
Marathon, so we need support pillars for the emotional support, as there are so many dips in the journey. So my support pillars have been my friends and my family, because I am an extrovert person, so I like to share my things. So I like, जब भी मैं डिप्रेस होती थी तो मैं अपना फ्रेंड्स के साथ शेयर करती थी. प्रज्ञा है मेरी फ्रेंड, निकिता, उनसे शेयर करती थी. And so my family has been my backbone. My mother, father, at my home, and my bhaiya and bhabhi. So they have all kept me strong. पापा हमेशा प्रिंट्स, मेरे प्रिंट्स लेकर आने, सब कुछ उन्होंने संभाला हुआ था. एंड मम्मा वाज मेरा मूड लाइटन करने के लिए. एंड भैया भाभी वर देयर फॉर मी. देन सर ऑल्सो, मेरा एक बहुत ज्यादा क्रेडिट जाता है मेरे स्टडी पार्टनर को, डॉक्टर नितिश गुप्ता. ही इज एन आईडीएस ऑफिसर, so and also a student of yours.
Yes.
So हमने we studied together and we enriched the notes together, and we were there for each other during our preparation. So that was also a big boost and motivation and my pillar in this preparation, sir.
There are two specific reasons why I asked this question, because in the last 2 years, this is third time I'm conducting topper interview. UPSC Medico is now 3 year old. In the last 2 years, I was not too much stressing upon the factor of support pillar, but I could realize even Dr. Akshita, you know her, right? She was also
Yes,
as a study partner, and when I interviewed her, she was stressing upon the fact that it makes a lot of difference, because we are aliens as UPSC aspirants in the world of medicos. It's very important to find a study partner, and I get a lot of requests from a lot of students, like based on gender, based on location, based on years of study. Sir, please match me with a study partner so that I can pursue this UPSC dream. Right? So that was one thing, and second thing, in the
So
last
I think yes.
Yes, in the last few days also, there
Yes,
are
yes,
not many
of course.
calls, because as a doctor, if the success is delayed, we get a lot of pressure from the external things, family and friends. People will be moving out into
Yes,
the
sir. Yes,
PG
sir.
and all. I think this support ecosystem is even vital for medical fraternity. That's what I felt this year. This is the change. And second thing is, we usually discuss a lot while having conversation also about Dr. Nitish Gupta, who is already into the central services, right? So I want to tell all the future aspirants, if you can find a right partner for study, I think he will keep you on the right path, right? Because this is it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, right? So definitely you need a right study partner along with the right mentor. Yes.
Yes,
So
sir.
yes,
You always say, sir, that it is a marathon and not a sprint.
yes,
So for that to keep going, we need a study partner, because basically when we both are doctors, so we could share a lot more. We could share our journeys, and we could share many more things. Like he's also getting the same insecurities. I'm getting the same insecurities. कि यार फ्रेंड्स तो एमडी करने लग गए, तो ही यूज्ड टू टेल मी कि तुझे क्या करना है, फिर तो अपना पढ़. तो बहुत ज्यादा फर्क पड़ता है.
What is the motivation behind, or the stimulus behind getting into this UPSC segment? Yes.
सर, बेसिक स्टिमुलस इन माय लाइफ वाज कि मैंने बचपन में सुना था कि एक आईएएस ऑफिसर होता है कुछ, तो मेरे को थोड़ा एक टेंडेंसी थी कि मुझे सिविल सर्विसेज एक बार ट्राई करना है. बट और मेरी फैमिली में माय कजन्स आर डॉक्टर्स, so I was like कि doctors are there, but there is no one in the family who is a civil servant. So one factor was this, and definitely in my MBBS time, I actually saw that there were so many hardships which were faced by the patients and their relatives. There are no proper diagnostics, or there are no proper labs. So I thought that it can be done when I have some power. I can do anything. Once there was a girl who was raped at the age of 5 years, and I couldn't do anything except listening the story of her. So at that time, I really thought that I need to go somewhere else to do more things regarding the education, health, especially women empowerment. So that motivated me. Then my brother also wanted me to get doing, because I asked him that I am not very much happy in the MD part, or I don't want to become a person where I'm just sitting in a specialized room. So he just said, Ki, you go for UPSC, you have that kind of a personality where you want to make a change in the lives of people. So that was my motivation.
Yeah, I could say. See, because there are multiple factors in your path, in your journey. Why I'm stressing upon this fact is, I had seen many of the doctors calling me, like they are down and upset due to the result, because you know the probability of cracking it. If I have 100 students who are a part of my course, out of them only 10% are submitting their papers, and out of them 1% are up the race and 0.1% are cracking it. You all know the probability. 15 lakh people are attempting it and only 700 to 900 are in the list. So you need a strong factor to continue the race. So there should be a very big motive. Why do you want to become a civil servant? If you have answer for that, I think rest of the things they fall in place. This is what I believe. So
Sir, also as a doctor, one positive thing we have is that we strong backup. So like I opted for Safdarjung Hospital. Why? Because Safdarjung has internal seats for MD. So I was like, any case, if I don't clear UPSC, then in 5 to 6 months I can study for NEET and I can clear the MD examination.
yes,
So a plan B was a very strong plan B. So that also helps me. My brother always used to say, उस time मैं बोलती थी अगर नहीं हुआ तो यार तू तो डॉक्टर है, तुझे क्या प्रॉब्लम है, हम इंजीनियर्स को नहीं जॉब मिलेगी बाद में,
yes, yes. I'm
डॉक्टर्स
very
को तो
happy that you are discussing this so early in our interview, because this is what even medical students want to know. Now, not only now, I'm in this medical science optional coaching for last 6 years. We have founded UPSC Medico 3 years back. Very common question or common query what comes into my phone or message or email is, sir, why not anthropology, or why not something else? Why medical science is optional? Among few reasons which I give to the students, one of the common and the most important reason what I give is, what is the purpose a UPSC board has given you a chance of an optional? The reason is they don't want the cream layer of India to just learn general studies. They want their own graduation subject with them so that they know the level of competition. Out of 15 lakhs, only 700 are cracking it. And they don't want the rest of the 14 lakh people to just lose their graduation knowledge and just sit in their home and prepare for general studies. Because some or other, they'll move out of this race. They want to pursue their graduation career, right? So for that, I think as Dr. Anjali rightly said, you need a backup, because this is not do or die, because most of the times people are dying. Don't take me wrong.
yes, sir.
This might
This
be
is a
true,
reality. This is a reality in
you need to
UPSC.
understand the reality, and that's the reason there is a lot of debate going on, because optional scoring is unpredictable. Sometimes one optional will be scored high, the next time optional will be low, and it is deciding careers. So most of the coaching institutes, the intellect tank, are requesting UPSC board to remove this optional and play this game on a level ground. But UPSC board is not doing that. There is a reason behind it, because they don't want you to lose your graduation knowledge, because you will be serving the country in that particular segment of your intelligence, right? If not UPSC, because you have limited seats, 900 this time, maybe 700 next time. So I think this is very important to have a plan B, and that's what.
And one thing also, doctors
Yes.
have a lot of questions that should we take anthropology?
Yes, yes.
But sir, in my opinion, I feel why I kept medical science only, because I felt that number one, if I am specialized in my MBBS, so whatever question comes in the exam, if it is also a bit apart from the syllabus, then I can attempt it in my knowledge. And number two, definitely, if I have to pursue the NEET PG, so the optional would have been my link. And also medical science also gets marks. ऐसा नहीं है कि it doesn't get marks. So I think this is a myth that medical science does not get scores. So I think that myth has been removed by sir also.
It's 17:3 this time, Nana. Doctors from Anthro is 3, doctors from medical science is 17. Mostly 9:1 is the usual ratio. And see, people ask me to record this video on Anthro versus medical science a lot of times. I tell them only one thing: if you have made a choice, stick to it, be it be Anthro or medical science. Don't get into this optional dilemma. Optional dilemma is the worst thing that can happen to a UPSC aspirant. I had seen people changing it multiple times. Every year they're coming up with a new optional. Every year UPSC board will give you a surprise with a optional score. One option will be taking a brunt of it. You take Dr. P. Srija. She said during her times 299, 298 was the score, and Anthro has taken a beat. Anthro has taken a beat. So every year this will change. So don't worry about which subject you are choosing. As Dr. Anjali rightly said, you need a plan B. And one more thing I would like to add here, because most of our medical fraternity, they want answers in this video for this. Why medical science is optional? Let me tell you one thing very clearly. When a student calls me and asks me, sir, why medical science optional? If a 5.5 years of your subject is not going to help you, I don't think you're going to master another subject in a given span of time of 1 year. And I had seen students struggling with other optionals because most of their learning time goes into mastering that particular optional. If you spend half of that time into medical science, I think this will give you fruits, right? So you're
But I
already.
think
Yes.
mine is the perfect example, because in my first attempt, when I reached an interview, my score in medical science was 250.
Yes.
And I was not in contact with you and my study partner. But then many people said कि तेरा तो medical से रह गया, so I think you should change the optional. तो बट आई वॉज डिटरमाइंड कि नहीं, अभी मैंने इंटर्नशिप के बाद दिया, मेरा कंटेंट इतना एनरिच था ही नहीं. So then I enriched the content, practiced more, made notes better, and now I am with almost
Yes, sir.
290 score.
Yeah,
So
sir. Yeah, 290 and the topper from medical science optional. And I think I had compared your marks with other doctors. I think medical science has come to rescue for you. You're the perfect example for that, right? The 30, 40
yes,
extra marks here, you have
after
put
the
you in the top
yes,
100
after the medical science exam, I was like कि अगर मुझे rank दिलाएगा तो it will be my option.
medical. Yes, yes.
And I wanted this only. I wanted to get good score in medical science.
You made me happy by doing this.
And,
Because
you are always
I work day in
motivating
and
me
day
for
out
something.
for this. I want more doctors to crack it with the help of the medical science optional, and I'm very happy with this. I have your scores also in the subject-wise test. Anat, Path, General Medicine, Biochemistry, Pharma, Micro. I want to tell all the students this one thing. What is common with all our top 100 toppers in the top 100 for the last 3 years is they are the ones who
That they have
submit
written
their
all
test.
your tests.
They submit that. Not many do that. Okay, not many do that. Very few they'll submit. Like the way you were calling me and asking for the minor changes in your answer
Mistakes.
writing pattern and all. Anyway, I'll be sharing this in the test series group in the rankers part. Okay, so people will come to know like what is the topper strategy for medical science.
Yes, so I have attempted all the tests of yours,
Yes.
and also I have got feedbacks from you. I have called you personally कि sir मुझे बताओ कैसे
Yes.
improve करूँ.
Yeah.
So
Yes, I can remember. Start with when you started preparing for prelims and what is the strategy for CSAT, mainly for medical students. Why I am telling you this is I got brilliant medical science students. They are getting 350 out of 500, 380 out of 500 in a grand test, but they're not in the list just because they're not clearing CSAT. I don't understand why that is such a big game. I think I need answers from you for that. Yeah.
sir, personally, I am good in CSAT, so I do not do anything about that. I don't think I am the right person for that. I
Yeah.
just did the formulas. There was a PDF of formulas of CSAT, so I just I just उस पे थोड़ा थोड़ा नजर मारा था मैंने, and I attempted one CSAT test. So I don't think I'm the right person. But for CSAT, up to there are mock tests for CSAT also
Available.
in the
Yes.
Vision IS
Yes,
forum.
that's
सब में है.
yes.
So the ones who are weak in that, they should definitely attempt those. And also they should get a CSAT book. Arihant की भी आती है एक CSAT book. So they tell you how to solve that question. If someone is weak in maths, they can learn those formulas and do. Or I think those parts are easier, the relationship finding and the logical parts. So I am actually interested in those questions.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I am very much in the comfort zone for that.
So, okay. Because you have cleared your prelims and CSAT in the first attempt itself, like right?
Yes,
The previous attempt in 2020 also. Okay.
yes.
So, like, what was your strategy for prelims? When did you start your prelims? Is it before mains or like you finished most part of the answer writing, then you got into the prelims? The timeline we need. Yeah.
So in my first attempt, I mainly focused on prelims. I did mains after my prelims only because I had lesser time after the internship. So in the prelims part, in my first attempt, it was a bit of unorganized attempt because it was the first. So I managed to get 5-7 marks above the cutoff. But this time, because I prepared wholeheartedly 3 months for prelims, March, April, and May. So I did 3 times revision of my static subjects of the PTs and attempted 40 to 50 mock tests. And I was able to get 132, 133 score this time in prelims, whereas the cutoff was 88 as
Yes,
general.
that's great.
So,
Yes.
and so my strategy was that there are 3 parts. First is that we need to focus on the static part, that is the polity, history, geography, IR, and the economy and environment. So उसका static part we have to do very thoroughly. Like quality के लिए लक्ष्मीकांत है, हिस्ट्री के लिए स्पेक्ट्रम है, तो we उसको काफी ज्यादा thoroughly करें, ताकि अगर उसमें से डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं तो हमें वो गलत नहीं करना है. और स्पेक्ट्रम में क्या है कि आजकल स्पेक्ट्रम से कम आते हैं क्वेश्चंस. तो मैं क्या करती हूँ, जैसे कोई कमिटी है कि ऑल इंडिया लिबरल फाउंडेशन है, तो आई यूज टू सर्च ऑन नेट कि उसका प्रेसिडेंट कौन है, तेज बहादुर सप्रू है, या और भी कोई भी कमिटी है, जवाहरलाल नेहरू की है, ऑल इंडिया जो भी मतलब पीजेंट्स एंड वर्कर्स कमिटी है, तो किसने बनाई थी, क्या बना, थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट डेवलप करके, ताकि उसमें थोड़ा कुछ एक्स्ट्रा मटेरियल हो जाए कि सेक्रेटरी कौन है, प्रेसिडेंट कौन है, ये पूछते रहते हैं, थोड़ा वो पीवाईक्यू से आइडिया लगता है कि वो किस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं किस सब्जेक्ट में.
Yes.
तो इन सब के जब भी स्टैटिक रिवीजन करती थी मैं, देन आफ्टर आई यूज्ड टू अटेम्प्ट द सब्जेक्ट मॉक टेस्ट. तो उससे माय सब्जेक्ट मॉक टेस्ट, माय what we said, the concepts were cleared after the subject mock test.
Yes.
So that was my first part of preparation. Then second is the current affairs. So that is by daily newspapers and the PT 365 of Vision IS I used to do, or you can do any monthly magazines or PT. So उसमें when I used to read, I also search on net कि उसमें थोड़ा extra material है, उसके आसपास क्या चल रहा है, so that you have a holistic overview. So I used to do that, and then the third part is the full length test. So I think I attempted around 20 to 25 full length tests, and तो उसमें भी we need to analyze it कि हम कौन सा सब्जेक्ट में क्वेश्चन गलत कर रहे हैं, किस टाइप का क्वेश्चन गलत कर रहे हैं, वी आर नॉट एबल टू अप्लाई सम लॉजिक, और एलिमिनेशन गलत हो रही है, या कोई स्टैटिक का क्वेश्चन गलत हो रहा है. अगर स्टैटिक का क्वेश्चन है तो मीन्स नॉलेज गैप हो रहा है, तो वो रिविजन करना है. और जो भी मेरी मिस्टेक्स होती थी, आई यूज टू राइट ऑन अ सेपरेट कॉपी, and that copy was revised by me before the prelims. So and then revision is the main key. So by constant revision of my static subjects, by constant revision of the current affairs, and constant revision of my mistakes and the mock test, I think I was able to get a good score in prelims, and it was quite comfortable for me.
Yes, got it. Hindu paper analysis part, how to go ahead with a newspaper reading, because there are most of the beginners from MBBS background who just starting. When I tell them to start reading newspaper, they don't know which part of the paper is important for their exam point of view, right? They get into more of politics instead of polity. So they need to understand that different. Yes. So what kind of
basically whatever our static subjects are, उससे related whatever news is in the newspaper, then that news becomes important and its concept becomes important. For example, if recently the president elections happened, then that is the major news, but we have to read the process of election of president. What is the who elects them, and what is the whole process? It is a secret ballot or open ballot? Can it be under defection or not? So with that you have to connect the static part, and we cannot read ki हाँ कौन कौन competitors थे and ये वो, this will not help anyway. So like economy में कुछ चल रहा है कि RBI has come up with a central bank digital currency, so we have to know it wholeheartedly, what is central bank digital currency, how is it different from the UPI payments, and is it a legal tender or is it blockchain based technology. That UPSC prelims asks very conceptual questions in that, so we need to be very clear regarding those concepts. Newspaper reading has to be just superficial. If any concept, we have to get deep into that. So that is my main strategy. If environment, like in an environment, there is some news that the forest law has been amended or some species has been added to the list, so that we need to see what changes have been done. And PT 365 also helps us a lot in getting those minor things in a single PDF. So along with newspapers, that has to be done very efficiently.
Okay. Apart from the newspaper analysis part, which is a daily routine, you are dedicating the 3 months before prelims exclusively for the prelims preparation, wherein you are practicing all the mini tests and also the grand tests. Okay. Can I
Yes,
know the approximate number of tests you have attempted during the 3-month period?
So during the 3 months period, with the static subjects, I attempted subject test of the Vision IS. They are around 15 to 20 total, where there are only subject-wise tests. So that I have done wholeheartedly and analyzing them, what are the mistakes. Then, so 20 are the subject tests, and then 10 to 12 are the full-length test of Vision, and around 8 to 10 full-length test of Forum IS. And I think I did multiple tests, like if Unacademy full length is coming, or the GS score full length is coming, just for the diversified, so that I don't just get to one material.
Yes.
So that ways, I think so around 40 to 45 total mock tests I have given in my attempt, in which I scored 132.
If you dedicate the whole 3 months exclusively for prelims, which is actually a qualifying exam, right, where you don't need to score 136, even if 99 or 100 also counts, will this anyway affect your GS answer writing and also the optional part, because you're like kind of switching off the whole the GS preparation and optional preparation? Because you do understand the difficulty level of the exam, but is there any way that at least an hour or two to keep in touch with GS and optional subjects? Is it advisable or not? I want your answer for that. Yes.
Sir, for the prelims, the 3 months of prelims, we also study the GS part, like its polity, geography, IR, environment. These all the things which I have learned during the prelims, they helped a lot in writing mains, because I were very thorough in my facts. I know environment में क्लाइमेट चेंज परफॉर्मेंस इंडेक्स में इंडिया का ये रैंक है, तो वो इंट्रोडक्शन देने में बहुत हेल्प करता है मेंस में। तो उससे मेरे मेंस के भी काफी जो फैक्ट्स, फिगर्स, एग्जांपल्स है, वो सब भी रेडी हो गई थी। तो उसको उस तरह से यूज करो, सो दैट इट गेट्स यूज्ड इन योर मेंस। अब मेंस में जैसे ज्योग्राफी में GS1 में ज्योग्राफी का क्वेश्चन था रिगार्डिंग द प्राइमरी रॉक्स। अब वो हम मेंस के लिए नहीं पढ़ते हैं, बट बिकॉज मैंने वो प्रीलिम्स के लिए पढ़ा हुआ था, तो इट हेल्प मी। मैंने पूरी डायग्राम बनाई, आई एक्सप्लेन दैट, वो मेरी प्रीलिम्स नॉलेज थी। उन्होंने स्ट्रेट्स के बारे में पूछ लिया, तो स्ट्रेट्स हम प्रीलिम्स के लिए पढ़ते हैं, बट मुझे आई रिमेम्बर्ड बिकॉज ऑफ माई एक्सटेंसिव प्रिपरेशन फॉर प्रीलिम्स, so I could attempt GS1 on my prelims knowledge. So I think it will not be a waste, and also prelims is very unpredictable. अगर थोड़ा सा भी, क्योंकि फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में I could clear it only by 4-5 marks margin, like 2 questions.
Yes.
So I was like very fear, I was in a fear mode कि मुझे prelims थोड़ा डर लगता था.
Yes.
तो इसलिए I thought कि I will give it full time.
So the first part of my question is answered, because general study subjects are relatable to the prelims, so it was not a big deal to come back again and start with those subjects. How about an optional, like switching off for 3 months, coming back again, the static optional like medical?
Actually, I had after my first attempt, I had 7 to 8 months for the next prelims. So I dedicated 2 to 3 months fully for my enhancement of the optional. So I attempted the test till January, February, and I was thorough कि मेरे February तक optional तैयार हो गया हो. So अगर तुम, if you are confident that your optional is ready, then you can definitely completely switch to GS. But if you are less confident that it is not ready, then 2 to 3 hours per day or 1 day a week, you can dedicate to optional.
Okay, so starting early, getting rid of your optional headache long before prelims will definitely help you score good.
The same thing, because in my first attempt I couldn't give much time to optional, so I could get 250 score, and so in that sense 3 months were definitely dedicated to my optional, which actually made the difference in this result.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, very good. We'll get into the answer writing mode, because we're done with the prelims CSAT part. So how was your answer writing practice? How many hours of practice? Is it daily answer writing? How many test series you have attempted? Because it's a game of answer writing. This is what I feel. Whatever is the optional, whatever is the interview, if your answers are good, if you say it takes paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, those are all the deciding factors. Just enlighten us on that.
So regarding the answer writing, I was not a person who used to daily answer write, but people definitely do, and it helps. I was a person who used to attempt full test, because I was like the main factor in this is time management, and how you attempt those questions in those 3 hours. Because अगर हम 5 मिनट में 10 मिनट लगा के करेंगे तो वो क्वालिटी अच्छी होगी, बट टाइम मैनेजमेंट नहीं हो रहा अगर हम सिंगल राइटिंग करते हैं। तो 3 आवर्स में उसी एटमॉस्फेयर में करो, सो दैट उसी की आदत पड़ती रहे हमें, और उससे स्टेमिना भी बिल्ड होता है अगर तुम 3 आवर्स ही लगा रहे हो। सो सर मैंने तो फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट से ही फुल मार्क्स ही किए थे हमेशा। इफ आई एम स्टडिंग GS1 देन आई विल अटेम्प्ट फुल GS1, GS2 देन GS2। बट ये है कि मैं फुल मार्क्स काफी कर लेती थी, बिकॉज लाइक per GS1, 2, 3, 4, around 3 to 4 full length I used to do in mains, and essay तो हर week or every 10 days you write essay test. So essay you should at least 7 to 8 essay tests, like 16 essays at least we should write. Ethics भी we should attempt more, like 5 to 6 ethics paper we should definitely do, because it also makes a difference in the final list. And regarding the answer writing, so there is the same format of intro, body and conclusion. And intro मेरी mostly कोई report से होती थी, किसी fact से होती थी, और current क्या चल रहा है, या फिर किसी definition से होती थी, which is a general norm in the UPSC thing. And then the body was very crisp what is asked by the examiner. और ये भी हमें देखना है कि for example 15 marks है, 3 parts होंगे question के हमेशा, तो उनको हमेशा पेज वाइज डिवाइड करना है, क्योंकि ये बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है कि हम एक ही पार्ट को नहीं 2 पेज पर लिख सकते. या वी कैन नॉट वी हैव टू डिवाइड इट वेरी जुडिशियसली कि फर्स्ट पेज पे 5 मार्क्स 5 मार्क्स एंड 5 मार्क्स का ही अटेम्प्ट करना है, और उसमें फिर बॉडी में वी हैव टू राइट वेरी क्रिस्प पॉइंट लिखना है, और साथ में कोई एग्जांपल या सब्सटेंशिएट कर दो कि मैंने ये लिखा है, अगर इंडिया मैक्सिमम मिल्क प्रोड्यूसर है तो फॉर एग्जांपल 23% ऑफ मिल्क प्रोडक्शन है, तो हमें साथ में फैक्ट डालना है, और सोर्स इकोनॉमिक सर्वे 2022, so that we have to write, or Niti Aayog at 75, so that, and conclusion has to be very very positive and very hopeful. For example, if infrastructure pe question hai, so this Trinity can help us have India 5 trillion economy by 2024, so very hopeful that yes, you will do something in the future. और एक दो मैं वो भी डालती थी, like way forward डालती थी कि in future we can do this, it will help in this, or technology can bring us this. So that was my usual breakup of the answers.
An optimistic ending to your answers, right? Like the future.
Optimistic ending is the goal of UPSC.
Yes, makes sense. And I want to add one more thing here. As you said, honesty, right? If your exam is for 3 hours, even if you're practicing at home, you need to have the time period. I was checking your answers just before this interview, and you are among very few students who were mentioning time column of the exam. And there was one exam wherein you took 3 hours 15 minutes, and there was a comment from me that try to finish it in 3 hours. You have taken an extra 15 minutes, and this point is very important to all the future aspirants. It's a time game. You have a lot of content in your brain, but on a given day, on a given time, on the paper, you have only one side of a paper for 5 marks. You can only hardly write 10 points, right? I think you need to practice that, and if you can do that, I think you will be on the winning side, like Dr. Anjali. Yes. Next thing is the mains answer writing. But when did you start the timeline part? How many tests you have written? Just brief it so that people will follow that strategy. Like, is it before prelims, or what were you doing this in this 100-day crucial period between prelims to mains? Yeah.
Sir, I did my answer writing after prelims. I will not lie. So, but what I did was that in the 100 days, the first 1 month or 40 days were completely dedicated to adding my content from the mains 365 and from the static subjects. I was adding my material, I was practicing it, and along with it, I was doing the test, one or two tests of each. And then in the next 40 days, I was revising that content and then building on my mistakes, what mistakes I am doing, how can I better my answer. So in that way, I was going, and along with that, optional was there in between my GS subjects, and there was a 50-50 division of optional and my GS. ऐसा नहीं कि मैंने किसी एक को ज्यादा दिया, किसी एक को कम दिया, क्योंकि मुझे optional पे भी उतना ही focus करना था. So in that sense, I devoted my time. But we should not procrastinate in writing the test. Whoever I have seen, 1 or 2 students, they always say कि यार बाद में लिखूंगा, अभी तो मेरी preparation नहीं हुई, अभी प्रिपरेशन तो कभी नहीं हो सकती है मेंस की या प्रीलिम्स की भी. सो विद इन फैक्ट प्रीलिम्स के बाद विद इन 10 days एक फुल लेंथ तो लिखना है. मेरी जो गाइड है विशाली, शी इज एन IAS ऑफिसर, तो उसने मुझे हैबिट में डाल दिया कि कहती पहले 10 दिन में तेरे को टेस्ट लिखना है, मुझे नहीं पता कोई भी. सो आई वॉज इन द हैबिट ऑफ राइटिंग टेस्ट अगेन एंड अगेन. तो ये गलती नहीं करनी कि हमने पहले 2 महीने टेस्ट ही नहीं लिखे हैं. That will be a blunder in the mains preparation.
This is an exam of answer writing. Unless you put your pen on the paper, you're not going to win this, right? And take my word to all the future doctors. अभी तक जो भी toppers है UPSC Medico में, they are all the ones who have written their subject-wise tests, right? Take my word. If you're, I can't say it's lazy, but we always kind of घर पे ही है ना, बाद में देखेंगे, we'll run after general studies and let's master ethics, let's master current affairs. You feel interest in learning something new. In the process, you ignore or neglect your own optional, so that will definitely cost you. So it's very important to dedicate equal proportion of time for both optional and GS in that 100-day crucial period. Okay, I think that's what the takeaway from this little conversation.
Yes, sir. And attempt a lot of mock tests.
Yeah, that's great. And you will get into the interview part now.
Mm.
How was your interview, and what are the medical science related questions in the interview? Yes. Is there any specific thing happened or any interesting fact you want to share? Yes.
So my interview was with the board of RN Chaube, sir.
Hmm.
So, and he is famous for not asking questions from your DAF and your optional. But luckily, I was asked around 30 to 40% from the medical science.
That's great.
So my questions on medical science were majorly, it was on Consumer Protection Act, that should doctors be covered or not. Then it was on the what are the lacunas in the medical education. Then it was a question on euthanasia, which stance you take. And there was a then question on the rural doctors, why there are not rural doctors, and what can we do in the short term. So these 3-4 questions were there. Rest was some random questions on GS and everything. So I was a bit scared regarding my interview, like how many marks will I get.
Good, will it?
But
179.
it was yeah,
179.
decent score as per the news that he gives less score, but it
Okay.
is fine with me.
Yes. So how many mock interviews have you attended, like before this, the final go?
Sir, I attempted 6 to 7 mock interviews in Delhi before my actual interview. My interview was very early. It was just on the third day, 1st of February.
Yeah, I
So
know that.
I had just 40 days to prepare for that. So during that time, every week I used to give 1 or 2 mock interviews. So 6 to 7 I did.
Yes.
So definitely mock interviews are helpful because because usually we are in a very introvert mode till mains, and suddenly we have to go and talk with the very esteemed members in our country.
Yes.
So it helps you boost your confidence. It helps you to talk in the formal language, and it helps you improve your communication because we are not very much in touch of speaking English in our homes. So in that way it helps. Then it also helps in structuring your answers. This time I focused on structuring my answer. Like I did give a introduction as the fact. Like if they ask me, sir asked me ki medical education, what are the lacunas? So I answered like ki, sir, though there are 500 medical colleges, but none of them features in the top 100 globally. So I think that makes some difference that yes, she knows some facts regarding that. So then I gave the answer and then a bit of conclusion that yes, sir, due to these and things, I feel these are the lacunas. So a complete answer you have to give.
During your interview preparation itself, you were taking a note of the current update facts and you are framing it. Yeah, you have a separate handbook for that, revision book for interview, say?
No, sir. Only by mock interviews, I used to come and analyze my video, in which I have structured the answer, in which I have just given randomly. So I analyzed those and then built upon that. I have to speak in structure like immediate term we can do this, long term so we can do this. So it was because of the practice in the mock interviews, and also practicing with your friends. Like in during the preparation, you get to build a more of groups. Like Telegram पे बहुत groups बन जाएंगे. On the Haryana optional there were groups. Then medical science ka. So you keep on daily discussions, like, or one day छोड़ के you can have discussions. So that also helped a lot.
That's good. From the interview point of view, like, do you need to think about the interview from the day one of your preparation, or you have started your thought process on the interview only after getting the interview call? Like, how do you prepare for interview per se?
Sir, in the first attempt of mine, I was not sure whether I will clear mains or not, because first interview you are very clueless. So at that time, so I couldn't focus on my interview post mains. I focused on my interview after getting the interview call. But this time I was hopeful of getting the interview call. So after 1 or 2 months break, so I started some preparation from December of month, like some newspaper reading, some thoughtful things, these much of things. So if you can do it previously, I think it will be very helpful, because then I got the call in the initial period, so I just got panicked. Yeah, I only got 40 days. So but I had done some things before, so it helped me.
Okay. Post mains, I think if you are optimistic about your result, I think that is the right time to think in the lines of the interview. Yes.
And even you will use your time productively.
Like, what was the major difference from first attempt to second attempt? Because this is gonna be a guide for many of the aspirants who did not clear this time, right? So what was that few points or few things which were different from the first attempt, which made you cross the line?
Sir, I think I boosted a lot of content in my medical science, and I adopted some different strategies this time, as guided by you and my study partner. Like, sir, in the paper one, like if it is an anatomy question, so I always wrote 2 lines of applied anatomy with that. For example, if it is a stomach question, I will make the diagram. Then I will write if there is esophageal bleeding, then it will be the peptic ulcer bleed or the esophageal varices. So अप्लाइड मैंने हमेशा हर आंसर में एनाटमी फिजियोलॉजी बायोकेम सब में आई हैव रिटन द अप्लाइड 2 lines just, and then making diagrams with the colored pencils, full good diagrams with colored pencils I have made. In the pathology, I have made the histological diagram in a circle and with HNE pencils. So maybe that would have also been good for me. Then and also structuring is very important. Like in pharmacology, I structured with like immediate symptoms will be this, long term symptoms will be this, or immediate side effects, long term side effects, or organ wise side effects. So जितना हम structure कर सकते हैं आंसर को उतना करना चाहिए. And then in paper 2, I think main problem is the regarding the space problem, because if it is a 15 marker question, पहले देख लो कि क्या क्या पूछा है और कितने पेजेस हैं. अगर हमने सिर्फ इन्वेस्टिगेशन पे 2 पेज लिख दिए और ट्रीटमेंट के लिए हमारे पास एक ही पेज बचा, तो वो डिवीजन ठीक नहीं है. वो मैंने बहुत ज्यादा मॉक से मुझे रियलाइज हुआ कि मेरी डिवीजन ठीक नहीं हो रही थी पहले, क्योंकि क्लिनिकल फीचर्स इन्वेस्टिगेशन काफी लंबी हो जाती है. तो वो पेज डिवीजन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. मैंने हर क्वेश्चन पे पहले मैंने देखा है कि कितने पेजेस है मेरे पास, और मैंने उस हिसाब से अटेम्प्ट किया है, क्योंकि काफी वेरिएबल था, किसी में 3 है, किसी में 4 पेजेस है, किसी में 5 भी है, और मैंने हर पेज भरा है. आई डिडंट इवन लेफ्ट लीव अ सिंगल पेज ब्लैंक. देन ऑल्सो इन क्लिनिकल पार्ट उसको काफी क्लिनिकल अप्रोच से लिखना है. जैसे कि मेडिसिन का आंसर है, आई विल गिव एन एग्जांपल, कि पहले एक इंट्रोडक्टरी लाइन लिखी, और उसके बाद अगर डायग्नोसिस पूछा है तो पहले क्लिनिकल फीचर्स भी लिखने हैं उसके 3-4, एंड देन उसका इन्वेस्टिगेशन लिखना है विद स्ट्रक्चरिंग. like first the blood investigations, then the radiological examination, and in a very structured manner. Then if they have asked the management, then we have to write both investigation as well as the treatment. And investigation जितना भी पेज डिवाइडेड है, अगर 1.5 पेज है उस हिसाब से लिखना है. एंड ट्रीटमेंट में you should write a pre-treatment, like only the symptomatic treatment, the specific treatment, and then the post-treatment also, the discharge also. Discharge advice, just 1 or 2 lines discharge advice लिख देना है. Peds है तो लिख दो discharge advice की breastfeeding, do breastfeeding and come after 7 days. So काफी उनको दिखाओ कि you are a doctor and you are writing very clinically. Like for example in surgery, you write the pre-anesthetic checkup. 2 same lines लिखनी है, just तुम्हारे दिमाग में होना चाहिए कि यार ये लिखना है कि प्री अरेंज ब्लड एंड स्टार्ट एंटीबायोटिक्स या ऐसा कुछ, वाइटल मॉनिटर चेस्ट एक्सरे. फिर उसमें अपना सर्जरी में भी पहले डाल दो कि नॉन सर्जिकल ट्रीटमेंट, सर्जिकल ट्रीटमेंट में मेक अ डायग्राम ऑफ वट एवर ऑर्गन यू आर राइटिंग, एंड देन पोस्ट सर्जरी स्टार्ट एंटीबायोटिक्स एंड डिस्चार्ज. सो आई थिंक जितना स्ट्रक्चरिंग करेंगे, जितने फ्लो चार्ट में बनाएंगे, राइट इन फ्लो चार्ट, ऑब्स एंड गायनी का पूरा पेपर मैंने फ्लो चार्ट में बनाया है. So these things actually made me this 40 marks
difference in medical science. Overall, in general sense, what was the like difference in your preparation strategy from first attempt to second attempt, apart from medical science? In general, the overall sense.
So in general, the difference in my first attempt was I was reading alone, so there were more dips and more anxiety. And obviously in the first attempt you are more anxious because you do not know where you are going, how will you do it. But in the second attempt I was confident because I had appeared for the interview once. And number 2, I had got good guidance in medical science through UPSC Medico. I have enriched the content through your notes and your tests. I have analyzed the test properly. And then also luckily in my interview phase I met my study partner, and we also motivated each other and kept a stability in the preparation, because in second attempt you are already exhausted after the first. So I think that stability has to be kept, and being positive is a mool mantra for this, because you cannot be negative. ठीक है, एक दिन कभी डिप आ जाता है, मार्क्स अच्छे नहीं आए, थोड़ा लूज हो जाता है कंट्रोल, बट फिर से वापस अपना उस पे आ जाओ, फोकस पे आ जाओ, बात कर लो अपने फ्रेंड से. मैं थोड़ा ब्रेक, फिर हफ्ते में एक दिन कहीं घूमने चली गई फ्रेंड के साथ, दोस्तों से बातें मार ली और घर पे बात कर ली. तो उससे तुम एनर्जी लेते रहो, ये मत करो कि कॉन्टिन्यूस 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 एग्जॉस्ट हो जाओ, बिकॉज एज यू ऑलवेज से इट इज अ मैराथन. So we have to get re-energized
Yes.
always.
Just
And the medical syllabus is very important. We need to cover it wholeheartedly. The syllabus which has been given on the site, उस syllabus मतलब extra content नहीं बनाना, उसी syllabus में extra material लिखना है. उसी अगर एक topic है तो उसी में ही we have to include some diagram. अगर वो फंगस 3 है तो उन 3 में एक दो पॉइंट्स और डाल लो, rather than studying more fungus. कैंडिडा है तो कैंडिडा की डायग्राम डाल दो, उसके एक दो और टेस्ट लिखो, बीटा ग्लाइकन ऐसे है वो लिख लिया, तो उससे थोड़ा कंटेंट एनरिचमेंट हो जाता है. और सर के नोट्स में काफी कंटेंट एनरिचमेंट है.
yes.
So
I'll summarize from medical science part, because most of our fraternity will be looking for the medical science related stuff. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. So this is what I observed. First, very important thing is, as a doctor, it's very important that your optional should be medical science. There are varied reasons for that. Let's not get into any controversial discussion. But one very important thing is, medical science is your graduation subject. It should always be your plan B. Okay, we know how difficult the exam is. Okay, and second important thing from medical science point of view is, there is a lot of scope for improvement in medical science optional, because our theory exams are quite different from university in comparison to UPSC. UPSC
yes,
is
sir.
giving more marks to the aspirants who follow these basic principles of number one very important thing is diagrams. Okay, in the instruction column itself, the only optional where they mentioned it, draw appropriate diagrams wherever necessary. You can use any color for that. If they see a diagram, they're very happy, they'll give you good marks. And second important thing is practice from medical science point of view. Manner, nobody starts early. It's very important to finish test before January or February, and those students who have done it are in the list. Okay, take my word, because this is a factual thing with experience. I'm telling you, this is very important. And as Dr. Anjali rightly said, medical science is a scoring optional, but it takes a little toll, because this optional is in comparison has a syllabus which is huge, not completely huge, but for that you need to understand the syllabus. You have to focus on high yield topics, and you have to enrich content on high yield topics instead of learning everything, because then it becomes difficult to revise at the end. Okay,
And
so
do the previous year questions. They are
yeah,
a lot
PYQ.
repeated.
If you're not doing PYQ for not only medical science, for UPSC, you're out of the race. Okay, UPSC
Yes, I
is
forgot to
PYQ
mention about
centric race.
PYQ.
Yeah,
Yes.
PYQ is the best way to go. So now, if I'm starting, I'm a first MBBS student. What is your advice? Yeah, I want to pursue UPSC as my future career option. Yes, I'll give you a scenario. Just answer it briefly.
So if you are a first year MBBS student and you want to pursue UPSC, my first advice would be to be sure if you actually want to do it. So for that, just start reading newspapers so that you see that you are getting interest in that. And then with time, when you get full interest and you start doing the static subjects like polity, history, economics, so उसके साथ साथ तुम्हें न्यूज़पेपर भी और समझ आने लग जाएगा. एंड अगर प्रॉपरली प्रिपेयर करना ही है, देन अपने फिर ऑप्शनल को ड्यूरिंग योर एमबीबीएस टाइम जो भी टॉपिक्स हैं सिलेबस के वो लिख लो अपने साथ, और जब भी तुम एमबीबीएस के साथ साथ उन टॉपिक्स को बहुत ही अच्छे नोट्स बना लो, सो दैट तुम इंटर्नशिप की नेक्स्ट ईयर ही काफी अच्छे से मेडिकल साइंस दे सकते हो.
Okay. And according to you, when is the right time to start preparing for UPSC in MBBS? Which year of MBBS is the right time to get into the mainstream of UPSC preparation? Because we are already overburdened by our final exams, internship duties and all. Yes.
So I think third year is a lighter year for MBBS. So I think in third year, students can do the GS part definitely. और जो MBBS का optional part है, that should be done along with the years. कि जो subjects हैं उसके साथ साथ तुम content enrich करते रहो, or in the final year. So I think third year for GS, fourth final year for your optional, and then internship के साथ then you can study and revise along with that. So I think first 2 years तो ठीक है, थोड़ा आप न्यूज़पेपर्स वगैरह पढ़ लो, इतना स्ट्रेस नहीं लेना चाहिए. अब पहले ही पीएमटी क्लियर किया है और you get into MBBS, तो 2 साल तो you should definitely enjoy more.
Yes.
क्योंकि फिर थर्ड ईयर से तो तुम यूपीएससी में लग गए तो थोड़ा तो तुम्हारा टाइम, थोड़ा या काफी टाइम उसमें ही जाता है.
If they're starting, like if they have taken a U-turn post MBBS during your internship, what is your advice? Because they have little time to adjust and manifest it into a better result, right? After the internship part, if I'm a doctor, if it's a
So
U-turn
U-turn,
decision, like from medicine to, if I want to switch my career to UPSC after my
after
internship,
internship.
is it too late? Like, what is your advice on this?
No. So definitely, I know a lot of people who started preparing after interview. Nitish started preparing after after the
Internship.
internship.
Yes, yes.
So 1 or 2 years you can dedicatedly give after internship. मेरा भी full fledged preparation after internship ही start
Started
हुआ
after
था.
internship.
क्योंकि थर्ड अभी अब फर्स्ट ईयर से होने लग गया, बट तब तो ऐसे थर्ड फोर्थ ईयर तक नहीं पता होता कि यू आर डूइंग यूपीएससी. तो अभी तुम 23 पे यू विल बी ग्रेजुएटेड, सो 2 to 3 years. आई एम 26 अभी, सो 2 to 3, देन 4 years. आराम से
Long
32
way.
तक की एज है,
Yes,
आराम से कर सकते हैं.
that's great. That's great. So
Even at the I know my friend Dr. Pragati, she is MD radiologist, and even she is married and has a kid, and she's at age of 30, 31, but still she is doing UPSC and has got a rank. So I think age is just a number.
okay, nice talking to you.
Okay, sir.
All the
Thank
best
you
for
so
your
much.
future.